Hi guys, thanks very much for joining me once again. Another disappointing series for Pakistan, unfortunately. Seems to be a regular thing nowadays with Pakistan cricket. It's more defeats than wins, unfortunately, isn't it? And I think it's a tough road ahead before we start seeing some positive results and light at the end of a tunnel. Because at the moment, that tunnel, it just looks like it's an oncoming train and there is no light. Loss after loss with the occasional good performance, isn't it? Let's just look at the T20I series that's just concluded against New Zealand and look at some of the pros and cons regarding that series and what the selectors, the players, and the management can learn and take forward regarding that series. Look, New Zealand are a competent side these days. They're not the team that Pakistan always used to beat rather comfortably day in, day out. I think New Zealand have gone to a different level in terms of international cricket, whereas Pakistan's trajectory has been downwards, New Zealand's has been upwards. You know, they're producing battle-hardened cricketers. Small country, they don't have the population that Pakistan has to select players, but the players that they are producing in all formats, really, not just T20Is, are excellent cricketers. And it's a joy to watch New Zealand and the way they play that game. As I say, across all three formats, they are top and difficult to beat in every format. They're a challenge for all of the best teams, and as I say, in all three formats, they are producing cricketers of a very high caliber. And there's very rarely any controversies regarding their players. They are well thought of. As I say, they're battle hardened in terms of their domestic cricket. They play in various leagues around the world. But what I like is the planning. These players with New Zealand cricket, they know exactly which series they're going to play, when they're going to be rested. So there's no controversy regarding selection of players or resting them and, league versus international cricket, which seems to be it's a common problem around the world with some countries. But New Zealand cricket, they just quietly go about their business, and that efficiency, it's shown on the field these days as well. The players seem to be content, happy with the board, and producing results. So 4-1 for Pakistan. I mean, that's really disappointing because whilst I say New Zealand are a strong, competent team, this wasn't their first choice T20I team. They had a number of players missing. There were injuries. So you could say it was a second string New Zealand team. And that's not with meaning it with any disrespect to the players that represented New Zealand, because some of them were their first choice players. But they had a number of players missing at the IPL or rested. So you could say that overall, this was nowhere near New Zealand's full strength team. Pakistan opted for a team made up of a number of youngsters, and I think the result 4-1 showed the difference in the two levels of these teams at the moment. New Zealand are a class apart compared to what Pakistan is producing. Pakistan won one match, of course, that amazing record-breaking win thanks to Hassan Nawaz's record-breaking, brilliant century. Whether that win was a fluke or a sign of positivity and things to come for Pakistan cricket, well, only time will tell, won't it? But I think those who are optimistic and positive about Pakistan cricket will have seen something in that match to suggest that Pakistani players, the youngsters, the new guys, they've got a bit about them to chase that total down with that ease and efficiency. Was quite a performance. The problem was that the other four matches, they were terrible. So it was a bit of a counterbalance, wasn't it? Yeah, you win one match brilliantly, but the other four matches you're terrible in. So I'm afraid that's the way it is at the moment in Pakistan cricket. One thing that really concerns me and has done so for a while is that in the past, when I started watching cricket, you'd see new players come into international cricket from Pakistan. They were battle-hardened. They'd played a lot of domestic cricket. They'd performed in domestic cricket. They'd earned their chance to play international cricket. And you could tell that, they deserved to be there. They look like they belong to be in international cricket. I'm afraid that a lot of our new players these days, they're like rabbits in headlights. They are suffering from stage fright. Yeah, nerves and pressure is going to be there, when you're making your debut, when you're playing your first few games, until you establish yourself. That's par for the course. That's with every sportsman. It's not just cricket and it's not just Pakistan cricket. That pressure and expectation is always going to be there for any new sports person. And as I say, in any sport. But I'm afraid that too many of the new Pakistani cricketers these days, you see them playing international cricket, and I don't want to sound too harsh here, but you wonder what are they doing in international cricket, because they look out of their depth, and that hurts me saying that. And again, it's not said with any disrespect to any of the young players who are trying their best. They're giving their all, but the fact is that Pakistan domestic cricket is not serving the purpose at the moment, and I think it needs looking at. Why aren't Pakistani cricketers, when they're playing international cricket, when they come to international cricket, why aren't they looking like they deserve to be there or they belong in international cricket? They look as if they are 2 or 3 levels below that level, standard of international cricket, and that is a huge cause for concern. I think you've got to look at the selections as well. I mean, some players are being picked in squads, and you think, what the hell are they being picked for? Because they've got no domestic performance, they've got no form, and they're brought back, and you know what they're going to produce. And I'm afraid it's just, it's almost like the selectors are hoping. Yardvo played 2 or 3 years ago. He was all right. He was going through a good spell. He was taking wickets. He was scoring runs. Let's hope that he does that again, and let's hope his form comes back. And I'm afraid that international cricket is not like that. It's not about hope and I wish this happens or maybe that will happen. You've got to have players who are in form, who deserve to be recalled. And I'm afraid too often in Pakistan cricket, players are recalled when they do not deserve to be recalled into national cricket. They flop once again, and then the fans say, what is this guy doing? Why is he being recalled? And I'm afraid Shadab Khan is an example of that. He's played in the matches against New Zealand. He's totally flopped. Everybody was saying, including Shahid Afridi, as to why was he brought back. I think most people knew that he was struggling. And look at his form in the series, in the T20I series against New Zealand. Yeah, he played all the matches, and you've got an excellent young prospect, Sufyan Muqeem, who played in one match, all 2 overs, took 2 wickets, looked the best bowler, certainly the best spinner amongst the Pakistani bowlers, and yet he doesn't even get a chance. What is going on? Why are these players being picked and then they're given a token match? There you go, son. You can bowl 2 overs. Let's see what you can do. We're getting hammered, but, at least we can say, oh, we gave you a chance. Pathetic, really, isn't it? Yet other players who do not deserve to play in the series are given all the matches. Never mind them being given 1 or 2 matches. They're given the whole series, yet they're flopping match after match with bat and ball. And I don't know, there's something going on behind the scenes here where players are being recalled, and they're probably being told, you're going to play all the matches. Terrible. It stinks of corruption. It stinks of hypocrisy. It stinks of nepotism. And when you've got nepotism and corruption in cricket, then it doesn't matter which country it is, your cricket will not go forward. I mean, what has Sufyan Muqeem done wrong? To me, he's looked a fantastic bowler since he was brought into international cricket, and this is exactly the type of cricketer who should be given a chance, opportunities, so that he can establish himself and make himself into a household name. Instead, he's given 2 overs. Absolutely pathetic, isn't it? And then we wonder why some of these youngsters don't produce, because they're not given proper opportunities. They're not given proper chances. They're thrown in with the hope that they flop, so that the selectors don't have to pick them again. Pathetic. It really is. And I've said that word pathetic 2 or 3 times now, and it is an awful way to treat your young, upcoming and talented cricketers. The problem with the selection now is that the Pakistani selectors have this method this theory almost where for tough away series, they pick these young guys and to hope that they're going to perform. These are tough series in conditions that they are not familiar with. Instead of picking the experienced players for those tours, those experienced players are picked for the series against Ireland, the series against Bangladesh, the matches against um, Zimbabwe. Again, with all due respect to those countries, because they're all improving cricketing nations, what is the point of picking experienced players in home series or any series against those teams? What should be happening is the youngsters should be picked for those series and given opportunities to establish themselves, to build their confidence, to score runs, to take wickets, to take catches, win matches against those sorts of teams. And then they're brought in to play against the tougher teams, the bigger teams. Instead, the Pakistani selectors are doing it the wrong way around, where they're bringing these young guys in, the new players, in for difficult series in conditions that they are not familiar with, and then they're expected to, start running before they can walk. Absolutely unforgivable and mystifying logic. It's a logic that is destined to fail. It's a thinking that is warped. It's a method that has a 1% of success. And instead of doing it logically, and as I say, by picking the young inexperienced players for the slightly easier series, letting them establish themselves, and then pick them for the series away to New Zealand, away to Australia. And Pakistani selectors just do it the wrong way around. So the Pakistani selectors have now got a tough decision to make. Do they stick or twist with these youngsters? Not many of them have done well against New Zealand, really, have they? And they've been brought in, as I say, for a tough, difficult series. And but having said that, I think now that you've brought these guys in, there is no point going back to Babar Azam or Mohammad Rizwan or those guys. I think you've got to give these youngsters a couple more series at least. Give them 10, 15 matches and see where they are and see if those players have managed to establish themselves in international cricket, because it would be tragic to drop these players after one or two matches or 3 or 4 matches, and then they're sent to the wilderness of Pakistan domestic cricket. Go and play in T20 tournaments in Pakistan or one-day tournaments in Pakistan, and we might see you in 3, 4 years' time if you're lucky. Otherwise, you're just forgotten about, which quite often happens in Pakistan cricket. I think it would be wrong to bring back the likes of Babar Azam, Mohammad Rizwan, and those guys for upcoming T20I series. Give these youngsters more opportunities, give them chances. Some might succeed, some will fail. That's always the case, isn't it? You're not going to have a 100% success rate with young players when you bring them into the international fold. But I think it would be a backward step to bring established players back into the T20I team. As I said at the start of this video, there's some dark days ahead. There's some tough times ahead in the T20I format for Pakistan. Pakistan were once one of the leading teams in the T20I format. Now they're one of the weakened teams. I think more often than not, if they play the leading teams, either in bilateral series or ICC tournaments, etc., Asia Cup, etc., then you don't really fancy Pakistan to do much. Every now and then they'll perform well, but I think it's a sad reflection on Pakistan cricket and where we are at the moment, that we expect them to lose more matches than we actually see them winning. And just going to go back to my original point, where I think there's some tough and dark days ahead for Pakistan in the T20I format before we see that light at the end of that tunnel. It might come sooner rather than how we expect it. We might see some players float, we might see some players swim, and we might see some players sink. But I think they've got to be given the right opportunities and enough opportunities to see if they can swim or sink, succeed or fail. Thanks very much for watching, guys, and look out for further videos coming soon. Cheers. Thank you.